Blessings to you. Good evening. It is good to be back with my Kingdom Deliverance Tabernacle family. So it is good to see all of your names come up tonight. I hope your day was good. Um, and I pray that your week has been good. I missed you guys on Sunday. And it is always difficult to be away from home. But when the Lord has, called you to do a work, there are some things that you just simply have to do. But I love and appreciate every single last one of you. Thank you for um, taking care of home. Thank you for being in place. Thank you for being responsible. Thank you for being accountable. Um, I received so many great reports about Sunday, and I am encouraged, as you should be. And I think the biggest thing to remember is no thing is perfect. Um, we all want things to go a certain way, and sometimes that doesn't happen, but that doesn't take away from the intention of people giving their best effort. So to everyone that was there, um, I am extremely grateful, and I am proud of each and every one of you. And to Elder Barry, who stood in my place for me on Sunday. Thank you very much. That is not an easy place to be. And it's easy to look at that place and offer whatever feedback you feel you need to offer. But it is not easy standing in the shoes of your leader, especially on a Sunday morning. So thank you for standing in my place and allowing the Lord to use you. Um, and I'm excited for where we are headed as a church and where we are headed um, as a body of believers. And so, as we know, we are preparing for 21 days of fasting and prayer. Um, and I want you to make sure that you have a pen and a journal. The Lord instructed me to remind everyone to grab a pen and a journal during this time. And the Lord said, find a place in your home that is designated for this time of fasting and praying. And the Lord said, when you go there, I will meet you there. So wherever that is, he said, find a specific place. And I want you to meet me there during this time. And that is the place where God will meet you. That is the place where God will speak to you. That is the place where God will give some of you instructions. That is the place where God will answer some of the questions you've had. That is the place where God will give many of you visions and allow you to proceed and take yourself forward. And this time of 21 days of fasting and praying, it is a sacrifice. That's what fasting is. It is a sacrifice. It's going to challenge you. It's going to have its difficult moments. But trust and listen to me. This time set aside is going to bless your life. I want you to follow it to a T. Don't cut no corners. Don't make no excuses. I want you to give it everything you have. And when you give it everything you have, I can promise you God is going to be pleased with your sacrifice. All right. So I want you to take this time very seriously. I want you to position yourself. Yes, help me, Jesus. Position yourself to do everything that you need to do. Be prepared to isolate yourself, but God is going to speak to you. And some of you have had some requests. Some of you have been looking for answers. And God told me that during this 21 days, not only was he going to meet us, but he is going to He's going to answer your questions. Some of you have had many things on the altar, and you're wondering why things haven't happened or things haven't moved the way you thought they would. And God said, I'm going to show you and give you clarity on why things are the way they are, and why your life is where you are. All right. So I want you to just type in the comments, I can do this. Come on, all y'all type in the comments, I can do this. I can do this. You're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. You can do it. You can do it. February 26th and February 27th, we will be in 2 days of revival. And I guess revivalists will be Bishop-elect Hayward Hamilton. Come on, don't be afraid. Put it in there. I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. Come on, type it in the comments. Come on, I can do this. Come on, come on. I see y'all on here. My aunt is on here, y'all. My aunt Marion, she been trying to figure out how to get on Bible study. Auntie, you're on here. I see your comment. I see you. I see you. Come on, y'all. We can do this. Absolutely. I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. Somebody said, I'm going to try. That's all you can do. I can do this. That's right. Come on. I can do this. 21 days. 21 days. 21 days. It's going to be an amazing time. It's going to be an amazing time. And you're going to see the best. You're going to see the best. Lamika, you can do it. You can do it. So we will have our revival. 2 power pack days. I don't need to go into that. I want to say this. During the month of February, we will be in church. We will be gathering together every Sunday. So we will be in every Sunday. I will be teaching Bible enrichment every Sunday in the month of February. This is a time of sacrifice on all levels. So we will be in church every Sunday as a unit. As a unit, we will be there every Sunday. And so I want you to prepare yourself to be in the sanctuary every Sunday at 12:45. Someone will begin praying out, and we're going to go right into service. This is our sacred time, and we are going to see a move from God. God promised me we will see something that we have never seen before. And I am believing God for miracles, signs, and wonders. I don't know about anybody else, but I'm believing God for miracles, signs, and wonders. He healed my aunt. She's on here. He healed her. And so I know he's going to do it for you. Okay. All right. Let's get into this tonight. Okay. So we've been talking about self-control. We're talking about self-control, and we have been on this for about a month now. I think it's been the entire month of January. This started out with an idea, and after the first lesson, it became a series because of the response and the growth on each of you has been amazing. Pastor doesn't say everything, but I don't miss anything. And anyone that's close to me will tell you, I don't say much, but I don't miss anything. And the growth that you guys have exhibited during this time of learning and instruction has been monumental. It's in your behaviors. It's in your body language. It has translated in your speech. And that is because you are not just being hearers of the word, but you're actually listening, right? And we talked about what self-control required, and it talked about discipline, right? And then the Hebrew translation for discipline is defined as listening. And so we said that we were going to be intentional during our time of making sure that we're not just hearing, but we're actually actively listening to what the word is saying to us. Because when we listen to our bodies, we put ourselves in a better position to remain focused, right? And it's not that many of us have not heard what the Lord has expected of us. We have not listened. And so because we have not listened, We have found ourselves in some areas that we should not be in. And so we have been intentional with making sure we are actually actively listening to what the Lord is saying to us. And in that time of listening, we are now putting ourselves in a position to make better decisions, right? And then this is just a review. And then we talked about the benefits of self-control. And so we talked about it has the ability to prevent discord, right? Disagreements between people. It nourishes relationships. In other words, it provides the necessary substance to grow. And I don't know about you, but I think all of us, could use something that'll help us grow a little bit more, right? And then strengthens your relationship with God, right? Allows us to become stronger in our faith, become stronger in our prayer life, become stronger in our commitment, become stronger in our accountability, right? All of these times that we have with God allows us, when we have self-control, to become much stronger in those areas, right? And then it not only solidifies our relationship with God, but then that also translates into our personal life. And so we said that, when we look at, perseverance, and we talked about, encouraging perseverance, encouraging the concept of providing support, confidence, and hope to someone. And so it's not that many people are so far away from God. This is some of us haven't gotten the support that we need in order to be as impactful as we desire to be when it comes to God, right? And so we have these things here. And so I want to dive here because I want to talk about this, because I think this is probably one of the areas where we as believers have a tendency to live in. I know earlier in my years, I lived in this space that we call temptation. All right. Somebody type that in the comments. Temptation. Write that down somewhere. Temptation. We live in this place called temptation. And a lot of times, temptation allows us to utilize a space and time to not hold ourselves accountable for what we already know we really should not be at or should not partake in. Okay. And so we see here that the most common used phrase by believers is this, that the temptation overtook me and people don't get it, right? Or this temptation was different from your kind and you just don't get it. Now, if we be honest, how many of us can say that we have utilized temptation as an excuse to involve ourselves in things that we know we should not be involved in? Let's just be honest. You don't got to type it in the comments, but I just want you to be honest, right? We have lived in a place where we say, this temptation has overtaken me. And, people just don't get it, right? We talk about people being able to walk a mile in our shoes and understanding where we came from and understanding our background and all those things that we encountered. And all those things may very well be true, right? But this temptation is not different. The temptation that you experience and the temptation that I experience is not different. We want to believe that the temptation that each of us experience is different, but the temptation is not different. Okay. I can't see your faces, but I'm sure some of you are saying, Pastor, what are you talking about? Right. And so I'm glad you asked me, because we're going to go here tonight. Grab your Bibles and go to 1 Corinthians 10:13. Okay. Go to 1 Corinthians 10:13. 1 Corinthians 10:13. And I'm going to start here at this first part. It says, no temptation has overtaken you that is not common to man. Common to man. Somebody write down common. No temptation has overtaken you that is not common to man. Common. What is common? Ordinary, familiar, or frequent. So if you look at the text here in 1 Corinthians, right away, it shoots down all of our definitions when it comes to us saying that your temptation is different from my temptation. right? Or a temptation that you have experienced, I don't know anything about. Or the temptation that you had, you're the only person that had it, you're the only person that experienced, and nobody else can understand the temptation that you have experienced. And we live there, and we live in that space because that space allows us to be comfortable. That space allows us to live in a space where we allow ourselves time or room to operate or do the things that we really want to do and don't desire to turn from. Because even Jesus was tempted, but Jesus's response on the top of the mountain is very different from us when we're on the top of the mountain, right? Remember, when he came to tempt him, he said, well, if you be the Son of God, then throw yourself down, right? Or turn these rocks into bread, right? All of these things he tried to get him to do in a matter of tempting him to get away from what he knew he needed to do. Now, how many of you have been in a space and been tempted to do something that you know is not permissible for you to do in that moment because of the responsibility that you have? But what we do is we allow ourselves, watch this, to give into the temptation, because the temptation is what makes us feel good. The temptation is what we are attracted to. The temptation is the thing that feeds our flesh. The temptation is the thing that we desire, right? And so when we see this, we look here and it says, no temptation is common to man, right? But watch this. In order for us to overcome temptation, we have to be honest about temptation. And so we can't use temptation as an excuse to fall willingly, right? Oh, well, I was tempted, so that's why I fell. He came and tempted me, and so I was there, and so this is what happened. And me being tempted. And can I say this? There's a difference in being tempted and being the tempter. Okay, all right. There is a difference in being tempted and you being the tempter. Let me put my face on the screen right here. There is a distinct difference in you being tempted and you being the tempter. Well, Pastor, what you mean? Okay, so how many of you have been in a space, right? And I can feel your spirit, and been in a space, and you said, don't tempt me. And in other words, what you have now replaced yourself with is going from being tempted to being the tempter. Because when you say, don't tempt me, you're actually encouraging the person to jump into you so they can tempt you, so that now you can blame them for what the decision you have made. When in all actuality, you weren't tempted, you were the tempter. You turned it on the person that was trying to tempt you. I know I'm stepping on some feet tonight, but I came to do it. I missed y'all so much on Sunday, so I got something to say tonight, right? So another, and I've been there. I've been in spaces where my response has been, don't tempt me. But all the while, in me saying, don't tempt me, my whole body language was saying, I want you to tempt me, because when you tempt me, that's going to be my out. When you tempt me, that's going to be my ability to be able to utilize what I should not do and fall willingly, using the concept that I've been tempted. Lord, help me tonight. Help me tonight. And if we be honest, I was cracking up when I was preparing for this, because if we be honest, that whole "don't tempt me" got a whole spirit to it. It's never that, it's never that mild or walk away kind of like, don't tempt me. It's very aggressive. If we can be honest, right? Let's be honest tonight. It's very aggressive. It's very aggressive in the concept of don't tempt me. right? It's in that, go ahead and say what you need to say so that I can respond the way I want to respond. And then when I fall, I can say it's because you tempted me. When in all actuality, I urged you to tempt me so that I can fall and blame it on you. But when you got self-control, your response of don't tempt me is you walking out the door. Your response of don't tempt me is hanging up the phone. Your response of don't tempt me is not responding to what you're doing. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. You know what I'm doing, and I know what you're doing. And I know the reason why you ask me what I'm doing, because you want to know if we can do something together. All right, I came to teach tonight. Yes, I did. That what you doing will destroy your entire life. Stay away from text messages that say what you doing. What you doing gets everybody doing something they don't have no business doing. Oh, y'all not going to say nothing tonight. Y'all not going to talk to me tonight, but I promise you, I came tonight. I came for this right here. We have to make sure that self-control allows us to walk away from the thing. Watch this. Walk away from the thing that I really desire. Walk away from the thing that I really, really want. Right? And then some temptations were simply our desire to taste or partake in what we know we shouldn't. Some temptations were in a space where it wasn't about the temptation. It was the fact that you desire to taste this thing. And so the concept of if this is what I really want. And so what I think is I'm going to play mind games with God because it's not about being tempted. I really want to taste it. And so in order for me to taste it and me think that I'm not holding myself accountable, I'll tell you, don't tempt me, because when you tempt me, then it falls on you and it allows me to fall willingly and taste the thing that I should not touch. Talk, Pastor. Talk. Come on. We desire this stuff. This is the stuff that we want. This is the stuff that we, I remember one time, I'm not going to say no names, but somebody said to me, Pastor, I just don't know what to do. I've told you all this story before. They said, Pastor, I just don't know what to do. I said, well, what's wrong? They say, every time I go over there, I just keep falling. So Pastor, what should I do? I said, stop going over there. Why are you going in a place that you can't survive in? Self-control tells you to stay away from the thing that tempts you. Stay away from the thing that you know you want. You don't think the devil know your flavor? You don't think the enemy know your taste buds? Come on. He's not going to tempt you with nothing that you don't desire. And we have to be honest and say that I have been in some places where there were some things I simply wanted. It's no secret about it. I put myself there. Yes, they keep on falling, Lauren Riley. Absolutely. They keep on falling, right? And so he's not going to tempt you with vanilla if you like chocolate. He's going to give you chocolate with all the fixings and everything that you desire. Why? Because if he can knock you off your focus and get you out of being in a mind state of self-control, then he can destroy your future. The temptation is not tied to you now. The temptation is tied to your future. And in order for your future to remain intact, you got to have self-control in the now. Come on, y'all. Come on. And be careful. Watch this. Be careful of the people that say things like, I ain't got them problems. I just got self-control. And, when they come to me, I can just deny them. And, I don't have that problem, with all of these things. All of us have temptations because it said, scripture tells us no temptation has overcome you that is not common to man. And so if the temptation
has not come your way, I'm prone to believe ain't nobody checking for you. And so when ain't nobody checking for you and don't nobody want you, you can tell me all day how much self-control I need to have. But I'm talking to the people that can be like Pastor and say, listen, there are some moments where I got to get away, because if I don't get away, I'm going to say something. I'm going to do something. I'm going to entertain something that I should not entertain. And it's not going to hurt my now. It's going to make me feel good now, but it's going to destroy me later. Right? We're talking about the future of where we're going. Right? It don't affect you now. It don't show up right now. And so you got to be careful, because what happens is when it don't show up now, you find yourself getting comfortable, because there's no, it seems like, you got away with it. And it seems like, God let you slide. And it seemed like, you got one over on God. Can I share this with you? If he spoke it and it was, if he can think it and it can be, what makes you think anything you do gets by him just because he don't respond? Sometimes God want to see if you mature enough to handle the space that he gave you and stop yourself. Where my mature people at? Where my self-control folk at? Right? Sometimes God gives you a space of grace that says, let me see if you even going to try to stop. Let me see if you even going to make an attempt to try to stop yourself. But what happens is we get away with it, right? And then we go back, and then we do it again. And then we stop, and then we get away, and we go back and do it again. And then we stop, and then we get away, and we go back and do it again. And then what happens is 3 or 4 years down the road, you look up and you say to yourself, how did I get here? It's from the 27 times in the past when you would not have self-control, and it done caught up with you in your future. Let me tell you something. When you get to your future, you don't want your past knocking on your door. Y'all ain't saying nothing to me. Y'all ain't saying. When you get to your place, you don't want your past knocking on your door. When you get to your future, when you get to your calling, when you get to where you need to be, you don't want your future showing up on you. And the biggest thing I did in my time with Bishop Walker was making sure that my past and my present was clean enough that when he laid his hands on me, nobody would come knocking on my door saying, oh, did you know this about him? You got to make sure. You got to make sure. Ain't none of this stuff happening new to nobody. It ain't no temptation coming on that's unusual or foreign or rare. Come on. Come on. This stuff not new. This stuff not new. And just because, here we go, watch this, write this down. Just because it doesn't show up in your present does not mean it won't be waiting for you in your future. Y'all take that tonight and you put that on Facebook, you put it on Twitter, you put it on Instagram, you put it on every social media outlet you got. Just because it didn't show up in your present does not mean it won't be waiting for you in your future. You don't want it to wait on you in your future. Absolutely, Auntie. Sins have a way of following you. Sins have a way of creating a trail behind you. And you want to make sure that when you get to where God got you and you get to the level that God has you at, you don't look at yourself and say, oh man, I wish I would. That's why you got to be honest with yourself, y'all. That's why I say it all the time. Can't nobody tell your story like you can. If they want to comment about it after you've given the explanation of your story, then let them. But don't let your story be brand new from the lips of somebody else. Ooh-wee. Don't let the past be brand new from the lips of somebody else. if the story is going to be told, then see, because here's the thing, can't nobody tell my story like I can. You can't tell my story like I can. So let me tell my story so I can tell you all of the things I've done. Because when I get on the other side, you will be able to say, surely the Lord has brought him from a mighty long way. But because we won't be honest and because we won't tell our story, we try to convince people that have fallen like us, that have made mistakes like us, that's in worse things than us, that we're perfect because they appear perfect to us. When at the end of the day, all of us got something that we're dealing with. All of us got something that's in the closet. And truth be told, if our skeletons come out of that closet, some of the stuff we done, would nobody want to listen to us. Nobody. Nobody wouldn't want to hear us. Nobody would want to serve us. Some people probably wouldn't even want to sit next to us if they really, really knew our story. And so we have to make sure that we are in a space where we say, let me be honest about this. I know you see the oil on me now, but there's a story behind my oil. Owens, I love you, man. There's a story behind this. I know you feel the glory, but there's some pain behind this. There's some crushing behind this. There's some bruising behind this. Come on, y'all. There's some failure behind this. There's some mistakes behind this. My background not squeaky clean, but my future sure look bright because I'm handling things I need to handle in my present. We got to make sure that we are not using grace as an excuse to entertain sin by the way of using temptation as an excuse to say, this is where I am and nobody else understands this. And a lot of the things, let's be honest, here we go. A lot of the commentary, watch this, a lot of the commentary that people have is because we've given it to them. People can't talk about a story that we haven't written already. Lord Jesus. People can't come out and tell a story that we haven't written on the tablet of life for them to read from. And some of us have written pages of our life under the guise of I'm human, and it's caused us to lose space into the future. We don't want to use that space as an opportunity to be able to say, oh, look, this is just me. I'm just human. Yes, you are human. Absolutely, you are human. But there are still principles, there are still requirements, and there are still expectations as a believer of Jesus Christ. This ain't got to do with your sins. This ain't got to do with your mishaps. It's not no call for you to be perfect. We know none of us have the ability to be perfect, but we can't utilize our imperfections to be wicked in the things that we know we should not entertain. At some point, self-control has to tap in so we don't make ourselves liable to taking advantage of the grace God has given us. And if we be honest, some of us have taken advantage of the grace God has supplied us. But let me show you, watch this. Let me show you how important it is to experience self-control. We serve a God that loves you so much. Watch this. He loves you so much that he backs you even when you find yourself in a state that you know you ain't got no business being in. Watch this. We have all been tempted by a common thing at some point in our lives. The only difference, don't never forget this, The only difference between your temptation and someone else's is our inability to, as a group, acknowledge that is common between the both. And so what we do is we pretend that what you're dealing with, I've never dealt with. We pretend that what you've been tempted by, I've never been tempted by. We pretend that what you've fallen from, I've never fallen from. When if the scripture is true, that's saying no temptation has overtaken you that is not common to man, meaning ordinary, familiar, or frequent, then at some point, I may not have been tempted by the same person, but I have been tempted by the same desire. Y'all ain't saying nothing to me. Y'all ain't saying nothing to me. All my women have been tempted by a man that looks good to them. You may not have been tempted by the same man, but you've been tempted by a man that talked the way, looked the way, and act the way that you want him to act. All of you, all of us have. Male or female, you have been tempted by something that is common. But because we desire to live in a place that says, you know, I'm not going to be honest about where I've been. I'm not going to share what I've gone through. You need to share. If I've fallen, I don't want you to fall. So let me share what happened when I didn't respond right to the temptation. But you know what we do? We sit there and we say, oh man, whoo, I'm praying for you. I'm praying for you. I hope it works out for you. I'm praying for you. When in all actuality, you see to say, listen, hey, listen to me. Don't do that. Let me share with you what happened to me. When I was tempted, this is what was said. This is how it happened. I thought I was strong enough. I responded like this. This was the end result. It messed me up here. I was able to recover. So let me share this with you so that you don't end up in the same place that I ended up at. But you know what we do instead? We sit back with our popcorn, we put our feet up, and we watch everything unfold. And we sit and literally watch our brothers and sisters fall to a thing that God allowed us to recover from. Pastor, you talking tonight. We sit right there and watch this. We get in group chats. We call people, we text people. Did you see? Did you hear? When all the while you knew they were destined for this. And instead of saying, listen, don't do that. I've already been there. I've already gone through that. You don't want to experience that. You don't want to go through that. Let me tell you why you don't want to do that. It's because I've already been there. And yes, the Lord has allowed me to make it back. But there's no guarantee that just because he let me make it back, he's going to let you make it back. So since we don't want to take God for granted and we don't want to abuse the grace that he's given us, he allowed me to make it back for a reason. So that reason must be to keep you from experiencing what I experienced. How can we say that we love one another, but we sit and we will sit back and watch people fall? How do we become the body of Christ and we sit as if we've never made a mistake, as if we've never done anything wrong, and then we judge, watch this, we judge what we see people do, and because now God has cleaned us up, and so we sit on our mountaintop, we look down upon them, we judge, we call them unrighteous, we call them unruly, we call them unholy, but the whole while they've only fallen because the one that God allowed us to recover from, we won't share. Self-control. Self-control. When do we say, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't go that way. I've already been that way. Don't go that way. I want you to be better than me. I don't want you to make the mistakes I made. I don't want you to have the indiscretions that I had. I don't want you to have to fight to get your name back. I know what it's like to fall. I know what it's like to be in a high place and fall. I know what it's like to be in an esteemed place and fall. and people laugh at you and people talk about you and they put your business in the street and they put your stuff through the airwaves. And before you know it, everybody is calling you. And then it feels awkward. And then you're embarrassed. And then you're showing up to church trying to keep your head up. All the while you feel like everybody knows and everybody's looking at you. And so now you become defensive. And when you become defensive, you can't worship appropriately because your mind is so bogged. And you can't lift your hands because you don't feel like you're worthy. And you show up to a church and you hold your head down. And you feel like you walk around with this guilt day by day. And you walk around with shame day by day. And you sit on the side of the bed and you try to figure out, is this worth it? And you try to pray and nothing comes out. And you try to read and your mind is unclear. And you try to offer supplication and nothing's working for you. And day by day, you're losing yourself because of what has happened and what has transpired. And the people that you thought would be there for you are the ones that go out and actually talk about you. And you're trying to fight through these things, trying to figure out how I'm going to go. And you end up in a place lost and confused. And then so the church now becomes the blame. People now have gone away from church because when they fell, the church didn't cover them. When the church saw them getting into it, the church didn't stop it. When the church saw them headed the wrong way, the church didn't stop it. I'm not telling y'all something somebody told me. I'm telling you what I experienced. I know what it's like to be at the apex of your ministry as a young preacher and fall and lose it all. And people don't invite you no more. And people don't want to hear you no more. And nobody wants to be involved with your ministry no more. And people deal with you from a distance. And they make you feel like you're the only one that's ever did it. And they treat you as if you have this infectious disease. Come on, y'all. I've been there already. And so I preach from a place of challenging week after week because I will never sit back and watch you experience what I've already experienced. I'll be less of a pastor if I sit back and watch you go through the same thing that broke my heart and go through the same thing that put me in mental anguish and go through the same thing that put me in a state of depression and go through the same thing that made me feel like I lost my anointing. I would be less of a pastor to sit and watch you die when the Lord has brought me back. But we don't have self-control. We don't have self-control in our minds. We aren't loyal to anything. We aren't loyal to anybody. I refuse to see y'all fall. I refuse to see you stumble unnecessarily. Yes, you will have mistakes. Yes, you will have errors. Yes, you will have moments where it does not go right. But I'd rather those be far few and in between rather than to become a lifestyle boggled under the mind of temptation. I refuse to let it happen. Watch this. Ooh. It says, no temptation has overtaken you that is not common to man. Ooh. Watch this right here, y'all. God is faithful. Now watch this. Listen to this. Watch this right here. God being the creator and ruler of the universe, right? Great supreme being, ruler of everything. I might go over a little bit tonight, so if you got to log off, I understand. I want to try to get this. I need to get a good portion of this out tonight. Y'all can stick with me for a little bit. Watch this. The creator and ruler of the universe, right? The one supreme being, God himself, right? Who created the heavens and the earth. And when he created the heavens and the earth, he said everything, that I created was good. He called it good when he created the same one. I said from the foundation, before I formed you in the womb, I already knew you, right? I set you aside for a certain time, right? This is the being that is loyal, steadfast, and devoted. And so when we talk about, watch this, when we talk about the apex of ministry and where we are as a believer, it has to be tied to the one that has been faithful and loyal no matter what. This is why you don't come to church for people. This is why you don't live your life as a believer according to man's opinion, because God is faithful when man is not. Kendra, I got to do it like this. And so watch this. Watch this. Bishop Neil, I love you, man. Watch this. And so it's what happens is we must remember, listen to y'all, please don't ever forget that this thing is dear to my heart. You must remember that the one who made all things, he controls all things and rules all things and remains devoted to us despite the times temptation overtakes us. Pastor, what are you saying? If you can't be honest with nobody, be honest with God. This time of consecration is about self-control and you being honest with God. You don't have to try to fool nobody no more. You don't have to try to just make it through no more. We getting out of the era of fake it till you make it. Ain't no fake it till you make it. I'm going to go to God. I'm going to tell him all about my troubles, and I'm going to allow him to deal with the thing that I'm not strong enough to deal with. And the reason why we've fallen to things that have tempted us is because we've tried to appear stronger than we really are. I can do this. I got this. I'm good. I'm good. I got this. I'm strong enough. You know, it ain't nobody gonna get me. I'm cool. I don't need nobody. I got this. When in all actuality, you need to go to God and say, God, that's the thing that I like. And God, because that's the thing that I like, I don't trust myself. And because I don't trust myself, give me the self-control to try to ignore it as much as I can. And God, when I feel like I'm losing weight from self-control, give me the strength I need again to ignore it. And God, when I feel like I'm getting weak, can you strengthen me so that I don't give into the thing that I know I really want, but I really don't want to partake in because I know it's not pleasing to you. And because I know it's not pleasing to you, I don't want to hurt my future and giving into my now. And God, I'm not strong enough to deal with my now, so it could ultimately affect my future. And because I want to be in good standing and because I want to do things the right way, can you please help me? Self-control is not always about being able to say no. Self-control sometimes require you going to God when you can't say no. Lord, have mercy. Please talk tonight, Pastor. Self-control involves you saying, I'm not strong enough, so God, I'm leaning on you to help me, because if you don't help me, I'm going to blow it all. I'm going to mess it up. I'm going to ruin it. And I know for a fact that this time when I go in, I'm going all the way in. I don't know if I'm going to make it back. I don't know what my mindset is going to be. I don't know if I'm going to have enough strength to make it back. So God, I need you to help me, because if you don't help me, I'm going to mess this thing up. But I can't mess up my future. Because if I mess up my future, then everybody behind me that's connected to my future now becomes infected. And that's why, as a pastor, I stay to myself and I isolate myself and I move and I get quiet at times, because I have to remember the thing in front of me might look good, but the people behind me will be affected if I indulge in the thing that pertains to me. Just because I'm a pastor does not mean that as a human, I don't have desires. But my self-control tells me I can't give into my desires, because the people behind me are more important than the thing that's in front of me. The thing in front of me is for a moment. The thing in front of me is for that instance. The thing in front of me could turn at any moment. The thing in front of me could ruin my entire future. So instead of me ruining my future for a moment, ruining my future for an instance, ruining my future for a taste, ruining my future for a feeling, ruining my future and causing my anointing to be destroyed, I'd rather have self-control and say, God, help me. Because if you don't help me, I'm going to blow it all. Self-control requires us to be honest and say, God, if you don't help me, I'm going to blow it all. Someone said, well, God, well, how come I'm by myself? And how come this not happening? And how come this one not there? And how come, everybody else got a boo but me? And everybody getting married but me? And everybody got a relationship with me? Let me tell you something. Everything that glitters is not gold. And a lot of people are putting on fronts for Facebook and social media because they following the crowd. But let me tell you something, that the reason why God has not given you certain things is because it's going to help you feel good now, but it's going to ruin your future. God is saving you from what you can't see. God is keeping you from what has the ability to destroy you. He's keeping you from it. Well, God, all I see on my timeline is engagements. And all I see on my timeline is relationships. And all I see on my timeline is this one got a boo. And this one got a boo. And this one happy. And this one putting the ring on it. Sometimes you got to turn Facebook off, because what you'll do is you'll put yourself in a space that you're not ready for. And you will create something that's not your timing. And then you will force something that's not for you. And instead of you being honest and saying, I just need to wait, although I have a desire, you will now put yourself in a space that will put you now in jeopardy of your future. It's about your future. You've worked too hard to keep it here. Get off your timeline. Shut your timeline down. Get off of it. Stop feeding into that. It ain't nothing wrong with you. Well, God, what's wrong with me? And how come this one got this? And how come this one got that? And how come this one is happy? And how did this one get this? And this person, as nasty as they get, how can anybody want to marry them? And this one, as selfish as it get, how in the world is this one getting married? And this one got a relationship, and this one got a house, and this one is traveling here, and this one is going there. And God is saying, you focused on what you see, but I'm trying to save you for your future. And the reason why you ain't got there yet is because you're not ready for that yet. You can't handle that yet. You're not mature enough for that yet. And if I give you that now, you're going to ruin what's going in the future. So we got to learn to be patient, knowing God is faithful to us. He'll never leave us. He'll never forsake us. He'll never put us in a position that will cause us to fail. But we got to be willing to sit and wait. Sit and wait. Sit and wait. Your purpose is aligned to a season and a time. And when season and time do not align, your purpose becomes a disaster. And so what ends up happening is when your season and your timing is not aligned, your purpose is not what people see. They see a perpetration of what you want people to believe your life really is. It has to align. Has to align. It has to come together. It has to merge. You shouldn't have to force a season and a time. A season and a time merges itself together because the ultimate goal is the purpose. Your future is your purpose, but you can't move out of your season because it ultimately affects the timing of it. And the timing of it is aligned to the specific season. And sometimes we feel our season is when everybody else's season now. And this is a season of weddings and love, but this ain't your season. This is a season of elevation and growth. This may not be your season. And although the timing is coming, the season has to align because it all goes for your purpose. But we got to be willing to have self-control and sit and wait until it comes. Sit and wait until your appointed time. Because when your season and your timing aligns, it becomes very, very easy to move into. And a lot of believers are trying to move according to what they see and according to what they hear and according to what their friend is doing and according to what this one is saying. And so now we've become so consumed with how intelligent we can be and how many words we can use and how many posts we can beat up and how many Facebook lives we can create. But the church is dying because we're talking about things that aren't beneficial. We're talking about things that only try to prove your intellect, but it does not give me clarity on who Jesus is. It does not provide me with the principles that I need. You can tell me I'm not saved all day. You can tell me I'm not holy all day. You can tell me about your dress code. You can tell me about the way I'm supposed to act, the way I'm supposed to talk, but where are the tools that I need? Self-control. Self-control. Self-control tells me I can't respond to everything. Self-control tells me I can't go everywhere. Self-control tells me I can't engage in every conversation. There are some things that people put out to you that your response needs to be, I have no response. Your response has to be, I'm not, hey, I have no idea. We have to learn that our engagement is the thing that allows the temptation to burn. And when the temptation burns, it has the ability to overtake you. And when it overtakes you, it now causes you to operate in a space that you know you should not operate in. And for fear of not being liked or for fear of being looked at differently, we remain in a place that we're dying in when we know life is on the other side of saying, I can't do that. We're concerned about what people say. We're concerned about what people think about us. But my question to you tonight is, what does the Lord think about you? He's always been faithful. He's always been there. So when will we show self-control and stop being concerned about what our friends think and more concerned about what the one that has been faithful to us thinks? God has never left us. We've never had to wonder. We've never had to guess. We've never had to think if he would be there. He's always been there. When we didn't deserve it, he's been there. When we've blown it time and time again, he continues to show up. He has always been faithful. Always. His track record proves it. He's never left us, never forsaken us. When the ones that said they loved us and the ones that said, I'll always have your back, and the ones that said, I'll always be there, were the first ones to leave when it got rough. The first ones to go. When will we realize that what we have ahead of us is so important that what I see in front of me right now has to be ignored? Self-control. Self-control. We can't use temptation as a way of engaging in things that we know we should not engage in. Can't allow it. You can't afford to. You can't afford to. There's no guarantee the season is coming back around again. And you don't want to miss it. If this time hasn't taught us anything, it taught us that from day to day, you really don't know what's going to happen. They used to say, here today, gone tomorrow. Well, that's changed from here today, gone today. Life is but a vapor. And it's so vital that you realize that self-control is tied to your future. God is ready. He's ready. He's ready and willing and able. My question is, will you exhibit the self-control necessary? I'm not talking about being perfect. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Yes, you will make mistakes. Yes, you will. Yes, you will. Yes, you will make mistakes. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about allowing the mistakes to now create a lifestyle that you know you shouldn't participate in. Allowing those moments of mishaps to now become a lifestyle. You got to get up when you fall. You got to dust yourself off. You got to go back to God. God, forgive me, and get up and get back in the game. We can't become comfortable in temptation. We can't become comfortable in falling. We can't become comfortable and living in a space and time that feeds my desires. Got to make sure we exhibit self-control that puts us in a space that says, yes, Lord, absolutely. This is rough, but I'm going to focus myself because I have got to get over here because this is important. This is important. I know, Lord, that thing right there, yes, indeed. God, give it to me if you don't mind. But God, if you ain't going to give it to me, I'm just going to keep on going down the road so I don't make a mistake in this moment right here. God, if you want to give it to me, I don't mind. If you don't mind, God, I don't mind. But God, if you say no, I'm going to keep on going. I'm going to keep on going. I won't get stuck in this place, allowing temptation to be my excuse. Can't get stuck in that place. Cannot get stuck in that place. Listen, tonight, I just want to say thank you so much for giving me a few more moments. I have so much more to teach tonight, but I'm going to stop there tonight. I can't tell you thank you enough for your gifts every single week. And it has really, really helped us and blessed us. I know $10 doesn't seem like much, but it is a lot. It is a lot when everybody puts in. And so I thank you for your gifts tonight. If you can partner with me with that $10 seed, just send it over and type done in the comments. Let's get our offering tonight. I'm glad you guys enjoyed this. This thing is deep in my heart because I refuse to let the people of God fall. I refuse. I'm not going to sit and judge. I'm not going to beat you up. I'm not going to talk about what you should do. I'm going to help you to not end up where I was. I'm going to help you. I see y'all typing done. Thank you so much. I'm going to help you. And as the body, we got to make sure
that we are helping people. We got to make sure. Thank you. I see you typing done. We got to make sure that we are helping people. Mother Wilson, I love you. Love you, Mom. I said, come on, we gotta make sure that we don't, come on, yo, we can't get stuck in a place of, well, child, I'm just not gonna say nothing. No, say something. No, say something. Say something. I'm just gonna mind my business. No, this ain't the time to mind your business. No. When you should mind your business, you don't. This is when you need to be concerned right now. The time you need to mind your business is when it's running somebody down. But the time you need to be involved in somebody's business is when you see them getting ready to fall. That's ain't no mind my business. No. No, baby, don't do that. Don't do that. I already done been there. I'm not judging you. I ain't got no bones in that fight. I don't want you to go where I went. Thank you. I see you typing done. I know. No, I don't want you to go where I've been. I'm not judging you. Trust me. I ain't got no room to judge you. We can sit down at the table and trade war stories. And I can promise you the chapters in my book up until now is probably far worse than yours. I don't want you to end up where I ended up at. So let me mind your business in this moment so that you don't do that. This is the time here where we have to help God's people. We have to help God's people. We must help God's people. We must help God's people to make sure that they are not destroyed. We've seen it already. So we cannot be comfortable enough to let them fall through the same exact thing. The same exact thing. So listen, this is the last week that I'm going to use Cash App for this. This is the last week. We're going to use Givelify moving forward. So I'm asking everybody to download Givelify to your phones, to whatever you need. That is a much more safer app to utilize. It records everything. It has all your transactions. It makes it easier for the finance team to be able to track things. When it comes to tax time next year, they'll be able to give you a report that will print out right from there. It is just a much safer place to utilize our finances. I've switched to Givelify. I no longer send my tithes through Venmo or Cash App. We still have a Cash App just in case. Givelify could go down at any given moment, so we still have it. But I want everybody to shift to Givelify. It is a much more safer place, and Cash App has a lot of open spaces in it with people hacking it. People have been extremely successful in hacking Cash App, and I would hate for what you work hard for to be taken away from you. So let's go to secure location and Givelify and make sure that we utilize that app moving forward. All right. Father, we thank you and we bless you. We appreciate you. Thank you for these, your people. Thank you for your grace and your mercy. Father, as we prepare to launch into this 21 days, give us the grace that we need. Give us the fortitude that we need. Give us the strength that we need. Give us the mind that we need. Give us the teamwork that we need in order to pull each other through this time. Father, it'll be challenging at moments. Father, it will really, really test our will. Father, it will really, really test our mental stability. But we believe that in your word, it told some things only come out but by fasting and praying. And so there are some things that we need to come out, and we're trusting you through these 21 days to bring them out of us and bring unto us what you have for us. And we trust you and give your name praise. In Jesus' name, amen. I love each and every one of you, and I will see you guys on Sunday morning. If you want to, I will post the flyer. It is on my page. I believe it's on the our church page as well. This Sunday, if you want to see the service from last week at Pastor Cam's. It will air this Sunday. It is, I believe, 10:30. I believe is when his live starts, and you can catch him at Hope City. They're on Facebook and they're on YouTube as well. The flyer is on my page. There will be a promo video that's coming on Friday as well that I will post for you guys. But y'all go ahead over there and support your pastor. All right. I love y'all, and I'll see you guys on Sunday.